How's it, guys? This is Davey FPL back again. This time for the Champions League Fantasy Football. I'm going to be taking you through my first draft for the Champions League. I'm kind of settled on this team. I've already made a couple of changes. So let's just get right into it. Okay, obviously, the one thing I want to just note from the start is that Champions League football works a little bit different to the Premier League fantasy football in the way that you can change your captain every game week or every match day. So I've got it on Coutinho now because Barcelona play PSV. But that will probably change to someone if Coutinho doesn't return, maybe someone like Aguero of Man City or etc. So I just wanted to get that out the way because that's the biggest confusion. And you must also use that to your advantage. I know a lot of my friends who played this last season, they would just keep their same captain on the whole game week because they thought that they couldn't change it. But yeah. So I'm just going to take you through my picks for my team first of all. I've gone for Lewandowski as my more expensive centre forward, as Bayern have a very nice group of Benfica, Ajax, and then AEK. I really do think that Bayern always do well in the group stages, sometimes not in the knockouts, but this is just for the group stages. So you can't really ask for three better fixtures in your group than these. And then I've also gone for Sergio Aguero, as I do favour their group and I think they will win it. Lyon is not an easy fixture, but I think that they can win that game. And then Hoffenheim and Shakhtar Donetsk, they can also do well. Then I've gone for Abubakar, I think that's how you pronounce it, of Porto, as their group is also pretty decent. They got the considered easier team from Pool A, or Pool 1, and then they've got Schalke and Galatasaray as well. I remember when Liverpool got put against Porto in the knockouts of the Champions League last season that a lot of people were saying that the player to watch out for was Boubacar. I think he ended up not playing, but I have seen that he's been scoring for Porto in their league. And then I've gone for Marcus Asensio from Real Madrid. This is a tough one as I don't really follow the La Liga that much, but I do know with Ronaldo leaving that Marco Asensio has been getting more time on the field. I hope I will do some checkups on these players closer to the time of kickoff. But I think he is a fantastic player. I really enjoy watching him. I think he's very talented. And I do like Real Madrid's chances this season in the Champions League. Obviously, they're always in the knockout stages and they do really well. And I do like their pool of Roma, CSK Moscow, and Plzen, I think. I think they can win all these fixtures quite comfortably, except maybe the Roma game. But I do know Roma made a couple of transfers in the transfer window, so I don't know if they're going to be as good this season. Then I've gone for Coutinho. It hurts me to have him in my team as a Liverpool fan, but he is a very talented player, one of my favorite when he was at Liverpool. And I think that they can do some damage in their group, as Barcelona always do well. And that's the important thing, is that in these group stages, always pick the players from the teams you think will do well, as they usually do. PSV first fixture, probably the easiest fixture in the group. Then they have Spurs and Inter Milan. But as you know, with Barcelona, they can always score and they can do well. Then I've gone for Sadio Mane. I opted for him over Salah, as in the Champions League football, Salah's ownership isn't as high as in the Fantasy Premier League. So it's not that much of a risk not having him. I'm glad that Mane and Salah are now midfielders, as that adds to the midfield group. As last season, the midfield group wasn't that strong, as all these players were listed as forwards. Obviously, it's not an easy group. I think it's the group of death, along with the Atletico group. But as Liverpool, they always turn up against the big teams, and I'm sure that they can at least get a goal against Paris Saint-Germain. I think they'll win this game. And then Napoli they'll beat. And then I think this is Red Star Belgrade. They should also, this is going to be the whipping boys of the group, I feel. Then I've gone for Mende, as I have him in my FPL team, and he's just crazy with his assists. He's racking up so many. And I said I do favor the Man City group, and I think that he will do well, not only for attacking returns, but also for clean sheets. Then I've gone for Cancelo. The Juventus, I think he's one of the Juventus fullbacks. I must just go and research it. I researched in the last Juventus game that he was starting, but I may have to change him. I've gone for Juventus as I do think they will also do well in the Champions League this season, and their group is semi-fine. I think it's a tough group as well, but I think that Juventus will win this group, and you always back the Italians for a clean sheet. Then I've gone for Joshua Kimmage. I think he is going to be my star player in my defense. He was getting so far up in the last season's Champions League, and even in the World Cup, you saw him that he was scoring goals, and it's a regular occurrence that he scores goals. And as I said, the Bayern group is very chilled for me. Then I've gone for Lucas Hernandez. This is one player that I must check up on. I tried to look at the previous Atletico games, but it seems that he is not playing that often. But I think it might be because he was returning from the World Cup, and he was a World Cup winner, and they just were trying to give him some rest. But I hope that he does play. I will have to check up on him. But as I said, he's a great option. I had him in my World Cup fantasy, and he returned good points for me. And as I said, the Atletico group isn't the easiest, but I do favor Atletico in this group against Monaco, Club Brugge, and Dortmund. And I also think Lucas Hernandez can offer attacking returns. So I'm not really banking on clean sheets against these teams, maybe against Club Brugge, but yeah. Then I've gone for Manuel Neuer. I don't really think I have to say anything more about the Bayern fixtures. I just back him to get clean sheets versus other keepers. Then I've gone for the PSG goalkeeper. I don't think that he will be playing. I think Buffon has been the favoured goalkeeper in the past Paris Saint-Germain fixtures. I've just got him as a backup for 4.5 in case maybe they do start rotating, because I know he's not a bad goalkeeper. I think that he's a good goalkeeper, so maybe they'll change for the cup games or something. Then Joe Gomez, right now he's the Liverpool centre-back paired with Virgil van Dijk. And coming in at 4.5, I think that's a steal for him. Obviously, Paris Saint-Germain is going to be a tough fixture, but then versus Napoli and Red Star Belgrade, I favour Liverpool's defence. He's just come in as a cheap option to fuel this starting lineup, but I do think he will play. Lovren seems to be out for a couple more months, and Joe Gomez has been playing very well. Then the next two players, I kind of went to the top ownership, and then I just selected the two cheapest guys. You see, he's got an 18% ownership, so obviously he plays. I'll have to do more research on him, but Shakhtar Donetsk can do well in this group. Last season they did do well in their group, so I think they'll come back and do well as well. And then obviously, I've also brought in this player from Napoli. He's also highly owned, and with a starting fixture against Red Star Belgrade, we can see what Napoli are up to, and he is cheap. As I said, my bench is basically just 4 times 4.5 players to fuel this starting lineup. So as I said, my captain for the first fixture will be Coutinho. Liverpool play Paris Saint-Germain, so I don't know if I'd captain a Liverpool player then. Other fixtures that, if you do have a player, are Dortmund versus Club Brugge. I think that's a good fixture. And Porto maybe against Schalke. But I do think Schalke at home is not the best fixture. Napoli, you could also captain a Napoli player. Or Galatasaray. You can captain anyone, but for this game week, because this can be your almost a differential captain. And if they do come out on top, then you can keep them. But otherwise, you can change them to one of these players. And I think a lot of players will have one of these players in terms of Bayern, Real Madrid, Man City. So, yeah. Then I think Bayern's has a good fixture. Real Madrid versus Roma is a little bit of a spicy one. I don't know what to say about that. But then Man City at home versus Lyon, I think. Because Lyon, I don't know if this is correct in saying, but they do strike me as an attacking side. So this should be a good game, and I do expect some goals from it. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up my first fantasy football draft for the Champions League. Please drop comments if you know any information. If you are a Napoli fan or a Shakhtar Donetsk fan, maybe you can voice your opinions, or even Atletico. But otherwise, I'll do my own research, and then depending on how well this video does, I might release another one days before the first game week. That's one thing I want to let you guys know, is that you have 5 days left to make transfers, so it's sooner than you think. So yeah, get your teams in, and I'm looking forward to this season of Champions League football fantasy. This has been FPL Davey, and I will check you guys next time. Cheers, bye.